Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ&A live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift There are some interesting news headlines that have come out over the past 24 hours. Dean Ambrose is no more, but Jon Moxley is back. Also, WWE officially announced the company's return to Saudi Arabia coming up June 7th. And also with that return comes the return of one Bill Goldberg. So we got a lot of things to talk about tonight. I will be answering your questions via Skype, via Super Chat. If you would like to send a Super Chat donation, I will answer whatever questions you have regarding wrestling. And we already have a Super Chat right off the bat here from Jack Gibbons, $3. He just sent the GOAT emoji, which I really do appreciate. Feel free to send in your questions via Super Chat. You can also tweet me at Aaron Rift. Use the hashtag NoDQVideo. And I do have one request regarding Skype. If you call in, please try to send in one question. I know some people want to ask a bunch of different questions, but I do want to get as many different callers on as possible. So if you can, when you call in on Skype, please have just one really solid question for me. And I have a question here from Cherry Mark 23. We'll start off with this. Aaron, isn't there a 90-day no wrestling clause for Dean Ambrose? He cannot go to AEW. Actually, there is no non-compete clause because his contract actually expired. There's no non-compete. Basically, the non-compete goes into effect when a WWE talent is released prior to their contract actually expiring. Ambrose served out the time of his contract. He is 100% free to go wherever he wants. If that's AEW, if it's Impact Wrestling, Ambrose can do what he wants, but of course, like I said, he's now known as Jon Moxley, and that was the name he used on the indies, and we'll see what happens with him. It's going to be a very interesting period. It doesn't look like he's retiring. If you guys have seen that video that he posted on his YouTube account, looks like he is going to be around for the time being, and he's not taking a break. WW Chris 11 just sent in a $1 super chat. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Keep in mind, you guys can send in questions with the super chat, so feel free to do that. I will go ahead and start taking Skype calls now if people would like to call in with their questions about Dean Ambrose or any topics you have regarding the Superstar Shakeup or the upcoming Saudi Arabia show. Anything you want to know, anything you want me to discuss, feel free to send in your questions in one of those three ways. Super Chat, Skype, or through Twitter. I now have Skype open. Chris Mace is calling in, so I will take this call first. All right, we have Chris Mace here. Oh, by the way, guys, just so you know, make sure you mute me when you call in. Oh, wow, we have some really bad feedback here. All right, hold on a second. Let's see if we can get that fixed.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm hearing my echo really bad.
Oh, sorry. Let me take care of that real quick.
Echo.
I can hear your echo too. Hold on.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Now?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that, guys. If you do call in, make sure you turn your sound off so you don't hear me echoing. Otherwise, it's going to be quite the awkward scenario. But anyways, how's it going, Chris?
It's going. A long day at work. Just got off work a few minutes ago, so I'm glad I actually got to catch the show live this time.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you on. So what's on your mind?
So actually something that the general was talking about earlier today on Armbar Explanation Point. He was bringing up, could you see this with Dean Ambrose / Jon Moxley? Could you see this being some kind of swerve where in a few months he comes back to WWE, just kill the Dean Ambrose character and returns as Jon Moxley and actually comes back and actually becomes a true heel and feuds with Dean Ambrose?
I would say that's highly unlikely in all likelihood, and here's why. I don't think WWE would produce a promo where he has his hand wrapped around barbed wire and you see blood coming out of his hand. That's not the kind of promo WWE would produce. Keep in mind that they are a PG company, and I know people are speculating online, oh, WWE must have produced this, the quality's too good. If anything, watching that promo makes me think it's not WWE because it was so simple yet so effective, and with WWE they have a tendency to overthink things, and I just don't think they would do something like that with the barbed wire and the blood if it was something that WWE was doing. So I really don't think it's a work. I would be legitimately surprised. Now, of course, there's always the possibility that he could sign a new WWE deal and he may change his mind, but I feel like he's moving on to other things at this point of his life. That's my take on it, at least. Okay. Well,
yeah, that was brought up today.
Oh, we're having some issues from your end. Whatever you said, it totally cut out.
Oh, I was just saying that. I said it like you say for us could be highly unlikely in all likelihood, but like I said, it was an interesting idea the general had brought up earlier today, so I figured I wanted to ask your opinion on it.
Yeah. Do you think it was a good promo? What were your thoughts on it?
Oh, I thought it was an excellent promo. I thought it was something completely different out of the box, so I liked it a lot.
All right, well, very nice. I'm glad that it's starting to make an impact with people, and people are speculating about it, and we'll see if this continues to grow over the next several days. This talk about what's going to happen, because a bunch of people were thinking, well, he's just going to take some time off. He's not going to AEW, but now seems like things might be going in a different direction. But anyways, Chris, anything you would like to plug or promote?
You can just follow me on Facebook at Chris Forever Mace and support NoDQ.com, support Aftermatch Wrestling, support the Simple Man Noah Foster, because 205 Live does matter. And just at the end of the day, everybody, we all have different opinions about wrestling, so let's everybody respect everybody's opinion about wrestling, because we're all in this together watching wrestling and having enjoyment and having good conversations about it.
Through the good times, through the bad times.
Exactly.
All right, take care, my friend.
You have a good one.
You too. Good night.
Okay.
All right, that was Chris Mace, the first caller for tonight. I know Mike Nixon tried to call in, so Mike, if you would like to call in, go ahead and do so. A slight chance of CM Punk at AEW, says Renegade. So the thing about CM Punk is that CM Punk is doing MMA broadcasting, and he actually has a show the day of the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. So it doesn't look like he's going to be at Double or Nothing unless somehow they can make it work where he flies in at the very end of the show. I mean, it is Las Vegas where Double or Nothing is, and CM Punk is going to be doing commentary in Coachella, California, which is about 150 miles. Actually, it might be like 250. I'm not sure the exact number, but it's not all that far. It's like a 4.5-hour car ride. And I'm sure, if he took like a private jet, he could probably get there, in 45 minutes or something. But I would say that that's really a long shot. I think CM Punk in AEW, period, it's one of those scenarios where I'll believe it when I see it type of deal. So Skype is open if anybody would like to call in with their questions or comments. In the meantime, I will go ahead and read off a Twitter question. Actually, I will hold that thought because Mike Nixon is calling in now. So let's go ahead and answer that. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I am there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. No echo. Thank you for that. How's it going?
No problem. I'm doing pretty good. So what I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you heard all the speculation, but did you hear about Brock Lesnar retiring from MMA?
Yes, I know that Dana White said that Brock Lesnar's most likely retired from UFC, and I could have sworn that this announcement was made already. I feel like Brock Lesnar already announced his retirement from MMA 2 years ago, so I'm like,
but he was supposed to come back and have another fight. I think it might have been like coming up in like the summertime or something like that. Because remember, Heyman was like, oh, we're going to freaking leave for Las Vegas, and how he wanted to keep the Universal title to go back to UFC and hold the double and try to be a double champion.
Right. And maybe that was the plan at one point. Maybe Brock was trying to make that happen, but when perhaps things fell through, and I heard he was doing the drug testing, and maybe something didn't work out the way that it was supposed to, and maybe WWE made him another great offer to stay, and he took it. I mean, it could be any number of things.
Well, I also seen on the little thing for Saudi Arabia that his name was also on that list of people to be there.
Yes, in addition to Goldberg and Undertaker, Brock Lesnar is in fact being advertised for that show.
I just hope they don't pair Lesnar and Goldberg against each other there.
I was just gonna say that. You took the words right out of my mouth. Like, I really hope we don't get Goldberg and Lesnar 3 or 4, whatever it is now. I don't even know. I'm just like, eh. I mean, so let me ask you this. I'll ask you a question. Like, as far as Goldberg, like if he's doing a match, and I don't even know if that's going to happen or not. I mean, he was just announced for the show. It's possible he could end up just making an appearance, spearing somebody, and that's that. But if Goldberg did wrestle one more time, who would you like to see him face?
To be honest, I think if you wanted to put Goldberg in a I guess not a completely high-quality matchup, but one person I would think makes sense, even though I didn't see his name advertised on there, doesn't mean that he isn't going to be there. What about, like, Roman?
Roman Reigns, I was thinking the same thing. Like, to me, that would be the one match. You could even have after Money in the Bank, like you could have Roman beat Elias, and then Roman comes out on SmackDown, and then Vince McMahon comes back after his hiatus from getting punched and says, I haven't forgotten about what you did, and in Saudi Arabia, you are going to face an all-time legend in WWE. You are going to face Goldberg, and that's going to be Roman Reigns' punishment for what he did to Vince. So there's one way you could get to that match.
But then if that happened, does that kind of mean that Goldberg would be a heel?
Not necessarily, and I think it would be one of those matches where you just cheer for whoever you want to cheer for, and it would be in Saudi Arabia, so it's not like Reigns is going to get booed or anything, or Goldberg. You know, the fans would just probably be split down the middle between the two guys, at least in Saudi Arabia. I could see that being the case there. But anyways, Mike, thank you so much for calling in. Anything you would like to...
Can I just say, like, one little comment?
Sure.
It's not even a question. I hope to God that when Bray Wyatt does come on Raw, that they do not play that Playhouse theme song, because to me it seems a little cringy.
Well, maybe he'll come out with that, act all nice, and then he'll go completely insane, and then he'll have another theme song.
That would be something cool. Like it starts out like that, but then, I mean, because even like he can still come out to his old theme song, even if it's not completely him, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like a little mixture, like the Playhouse, and then all of a sudden the thing goes then starts playing his old one.
Yeah, that's quite possible. Like he'll like flip personalities, you know, some kind of split personality scenario. But anyways, thank you.
I do gotta say I have enjoyed the vignettes or whatever.
Yeah, as have I.
It's something different, and it's good to have something different every now and again.
I agree.
And to test the waters. But on that, I'll let you go, Aaron.
All right, thank you so much for Mike for you calling in. I really do appreciate it. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Just everybody keep supporting Aaron. He's a great man, and like I said, been following for years.
All right, I really do appreciate it very much, and have a great rest of your evening.
You too, Aaron.
All right, take care, my friend.
You too, brother.
All right, that was Mike Nixon calling in. Remember, you guys can call in. I'm going to try to get through as many calls as possible tonight, so let's see who we got next on the queue. All right, Pockets Pregu. All right, let's see. Hello, how's it going?
Hello, Aaron. It's Trademark.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I have a question, though.
Sure, go for it.
What we've seen on Raw with AJ and Seth, do you think that AJ turns heel after the match and joins the club?
Ooh, like have Anderson and Gallows reunite with AJ Styles? I mean, That is a possibility. Like, I think if one of them is going to turn, it's going to be AJ, just because I feel like Rollins has built up to being the top babyface on Raw, and AJ, he's been a face for a while, but I feel like maybe he could benefit from a turn. I definitely think the first match will be face versus face, and then if they keep the feud going, I think you would have to turn somebody at that point. But as far as reuniting the club, see, I don't know that Anderson and Gallows are staying. Like, I feel like they are on their way out of the company. But it is possible they could reunite for a period of time, and they could once again be reunited with AJ, and maybe that'll convince them to sign a new contract if WWE wants to keep them, but I'm not sure if that's the case. Interesting idea, though. I mean, I definitely would not rule that out.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Thank you for the question. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Keep up the good work, Aaron. We love you here, man.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I do appreciate the call.
You're welcome.
All right, have a great night, my friend.
You too.
All right, take care. All right, all right, so we got, thought we had somebody else calling in. Oh, wait, we got another one. Ayatollah calling in. Ayatollah, Kijij. All right, let's see who this is. Hello, how's it going?
Not bad, man. How's it going with you, Aaron?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind?
Not much, man. I was just wondering, who do you think is the most overrated person in NXT right now?
Overrated. Wow, that's a tough question because NXT is so highly regarded and people praise pretty much everyone on the roster. I haven't seen enough of NXT to really make a really educated opinion on this. I feel like, and this might generate some controversy within the NoDQ inner circle, but I feel like the women's matches haven't really been stealing the show as of late, and you could put that blame on Shayna Baszler. I think she has a lot of potential, but I feel like without the I'm a tough badass persona and without the booking protecting her, like I question how far she would go. So I would need to see more of her and see what she can do promo wise. And, there's some guys, like, even if they're booked poorly, they can overcome that, and they just have that ability, and they're top tier performers. So with her, I'm still not completely sold. I mean, they're really protecting her, same way they would do with like Ryback or Goldberg back in the day. They're booked really strong, but the question is, if they're not booked as strong, would they be as successful? Would they be able to stay on top? So I still need to see more out of her, but it's really hard to answer that question because Shayna's great too. I think, everyone that's there in NXT, they're quality performers for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like, they all have their own potential. It's just like you were saying, everyone kind of likes to, I guess, like hug NXT's nuts for lack of a better term, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what they do, no matter what takeover show you watch, it's a 5-star show. You know what I mean? It's an instant classic. You know what I mean? Like, I find that's kind of BS in my opinion, but I just want to see what you thought about that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
No, man. All I wanted to say is niggas are fake.
All right, caught that. That guy's blocked. All right, let's get Colin Andrew on here. That guy is officially blocked. I had my button on it too because his voice, he sounded familiar. Hey Colin, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, although I just had a guy call in and drop a word that I was half expecting him to say because his voice sounded familiar.
What's that?
I'm not repeating it.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah.
Anyways, I know you're safe, so what's on your mind, my friend?
Well, I was just hearing what you're talking about Shayna Baszler, and I kind of agree with you. How I feel she's very protected, and I feel that she wouldn't be as far as she was without it. You know what I mean? I want to see her break out on her own instead of having her little hitchman with her. I think it'd be a good experience for her. Honestly, I was really shocked to not see her called up.
Right.
To see if she can sink or swim with the rest of us. She's been NXT champion for how long now?
Oh, quite a while. I don't know the exact number.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact date, but I know it's been a hot minute now. And I was really expecting Mania weekend for her to drop that title.
Right.
I really, for some reason, I don't see her holding on to it too much longer. And then from there, I really don't know what to see from her because she's really not strong on the mic at all. Just in her persona, she has that I'm from MMA, I don't really have to prove myself type deal. That's
right.
The vibe I get from her. I already proved myself somewhere else, so why should I have to do it again? I mean, look at my, one of my best friends, Ronda Rousey. She just walked in the door and got everything handed to her. So why should I have to do anything either? Yeah. That's kind of the deal I get from her. So
yeah, and I feel pretty much the same way with her. I think she definitely has potential to be a major star, but again, like I feel like she at the same time is also being protected, and I just question, like, once you stop pushing her that strongly, will she be able to succeed without the backing of the promotional machine?
Yeah, I honestly, I'm thinking a hard no, but I'm hoping to be proven wrong.
Right.
For the sake of the women's division, quote unquote. I don't want to get any heat from anybody, so
right.
I'm just going to keep it as that.
Yeah, I know Big G might not be thrilled with what I said, but I was put on the spot with that question. Any questions you have regarding what's going on in wrestling right now?
I'm just anxious to see what's going on with Mr. Ambrose, Jon Moxley, whatever you want to call it, because our NXT group chat has been going crazy about it since last night. Armbar's going nuts over it, so I'm excited and very anxious to see how and where this all plays out.
Yeah, as am I. I mean, it's definitely getting people buzzed about. Well, right now I think people are more intrigued about Double or Nothing and the possibility that he may show up there now, because the indication was that he was going to take time off from wrestling, but I think that video says otherwise.
Yeah, I'm just anxious to see exactly where he's going to go, though, because they put like a lot of Easter eggs in that vignette.
Right.
How it had the dice, and it had the cards, and it had the 2-5, and everything like that. And there's like, all right, so there could be is WWE giving us one of the biggest swerves of all time? Is he really going to join another company, AEW, Impact? The choice is his, but I don't know if it's just a big Easter egg swerve we're getting, or if he's really going to jump to another company. Either way, I'm excited to see Jon Moxley back. I watched a lot of CZW and things like that here. So I've seen what he before Dean Ambrose came about, but there was a lot of things in that vignette too. How he was escaping the prison that could have been WWE, and then they had the dog. Could that dog been the big dog who was escaping?
Right.
There's 100 different ways to go about it. So.
Yeah, like I said, that video package was just so simple, yet I think so effective in getting people talking.
Yeah, so, how just like that old saying, a picture says 1,000 words.
The video says even more than that. Well, thank you so much for calling in. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
I want to plug our Facebook group, Armbar, all capitals, ARMBAR, exclamation point. And then I want to plug the NoDQ store for shirts. Everyone go buy a shirt real quick. And then that's really about it. Aftermatch Wrestling, and then my YouTube channel, Colin Andrew, COLIN space Andrew.
All right, well, I appreciate the call. Have a great night, my friend.
Hey, thanks, you too.
All right, take care. All right, that was Colin Andrew, and I did get a $5 super chat here. Actually, how did that call go through? All right, Hamp is calling. We'll take this. Tim, I am going to answer your super chat here in a minute. Hamp, how's it going?
Good about you?
I'm doing pretty well, other than the guy that once again tried to be clever by asking a sincere question, then dropping a bad word at the very end of the call. But I'll make sure I block his account. I recognize his voice now, so if he pulls it a third time, I'm just going to hang up on the guy. So he's going to have to disguise his voice. I'm sure he's watching this right now, so you're going to have to change up your voice next time, because I'm catching on. I'm a little slow, but I'm starting to take notice.
Yeah, I actually
joined just a few minutes ago because I all of a sudden I heard that guy's blocked, and I'm like, wait, what happened? I had to just rewind it to see what happened. But
Right. Anyways, what's on your mind, my friend?
well, I have two questions. One of them is I've been at the dealership all day. I bought a new car today, so I don't know about what this Goldberg stuff is. What's all this Goldberg talk?
So Goldberg is officially returning for the Saudi Arabia show, which is on June 7th. He is being advertised along with The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. And that's all we know at this point. There's been nothing announced or rumored regarding a possible match. But, I mean, I'm guessing that this is something that was probably in the works for a little bit, I would think. And, WWE trying to bring in the big guns for the next Saudi Arabia show. You know, they're bringing in the legends, the government there in Saudi Arabia. They love the old-time WWE stars and WCW stars. So Goldberg, I guess, he's getting a big payday. I'm pretty certain he is. So that's what we know at this point.
Oh, okay. And second question is thinking about the Raw ratings, like the third hour fell below 2 million, something like that. Earlier this other day. Anyway, I was reading that, and I was wondering, people are saying ratings don't matter, and but the thing is, SmackDown is about to be on Fox, and I mean that's not USA Network. This is primetime TV. I mean, is Fox really going to put up with those kind of ratings?
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, there's always this possibility that Fox could end up getting buyer's remorse, but I feel like the numbers would have to drop and stay really low, I think, for Fox to truly panic. And, when WWE debuts on Fox, there'll be a lot of promotion. John Cena will probably be back, Undertaker, all the big names will come back for the first couple shows, and, maybe they'll get those ratings up. They'll put the Band-Aid on the bigger problem and just try to fix everything, and Fox might be happy for at least a period of time. But yeah, I mean, unless WWE starts producing more captivating shows and they build new stars and they can make these stars mean something to the general public. If WWE is not able to do that, I just see these numbers continuing to decline. So I think there is got to be a point, even though the numbers WWE is doing right now, those numbers are good by traditional cable standards, it still has to be reason for concern. It's a downward trend, and what's the bottom? Like, how low are they going to go? And we really don't know at this point, because just when you think it can't get any lower, it does. Like, when WWE fell under 3 million viewers, I thought, okay, this is as low as it's going to go. But here we are. The shows are starting to go under 2 million now. So I don't know where they're going to bottom out. But if they can get people invested in the product again, if they can develop a hot new star, I mean, those numbers could end up going back up again. So it's really hard to say, but I think WWE should definitely be taking some concern. I don't know if they're going to necessarily make changes or not, but this Fox thing is a big deal, and you definitely want Fox to be satisfied.
Right. Well, I mean, that's just my main concern is, Fox will cancel a show in a heartbeat if it doesn't get the ratings it wants. So, but third question I just thought of quick one. Do you think that AEW is making a mistake, same mistake TNA did by signing a bunch of failed WWE stars?
Well, I mean, who are we talking about as a failed WWE superstar? I mean, Dean Ambrose went out on top. I mean, he went out just about as good as any WWE star could go. With the Shield.
Well, I mean, when they're talking about, I guess I shouldn't really include Goldust, but I mean, they're about to eventually probably. I mean, they're talking about Sasha Banks, and I mean, all these tag teams that are talking about going over. I mean, I'm just it was just a thought I had because TNA used to always sign they signed Mr. Anderson and they signed Christian and they pushed them all to the top.
Yeah, and that's definitely something to consider. And you don't want to make the past mistakes. You want to make your own stars. You want to bring in these guys to help bring in more eyeballs to your show. But at the end of the day, the ultimate goal should be to make new stars that are mainstream. If AEW can do that, that's going to be a recipe for success. But I don't think they're going to have long-term success if they have to rely on those names to bring in the viewers. You know, you want to do that initially. You want to bring in some people, but you don't want to overdo it. Yeah, that was definitely a problem with TNA. Like, anytime TNA would sign a new person from WWE, everyone, the running joke would be that guy's going to be the next Impact World Champion, you know? So they definitely have to avoid that stigma. So we'll see if they learn from those past mistakes. But anyways, Hamp, thank you so much for calling in. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
No, I'm nothing to plug or promote, but I appreciate the phone calls and I'm entertained by your videos and just keep.
All right, I'll keep plugging away. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
All right, you have a good one.
Have a great night. All right, so on that note, I will put Skype in do not disturb mode so I can answer these questions. I did get the $5 super chat. You guys can also send in super chat questions if you'd like. I'm not sure why I'm still getting calls, but I'll answer it here. JH, how's it going?
Niggers.
Okay, well, that is definitely on do not disturb. I'm not answering any more calls right now. This one comes from Tim with a $5 super chat. He says, do you think Brock Lesnar will ruin Seth versus AJ as revenge for Seth cheating to set up a rematch? That is a really interesting question. I mean, I definitely could see that as a possibility. I know like people are just going to be groaning at the idea of Brock Lesnar getting involved again, but I mean, that could be why he's retiring, that WWE made him an offer and he's at the point where, you know, if he's not going to fight now, it's likely not going to happen. So if Brock does come back and is going to keep his run in WWE going, yeah, I could see that absolutely being the finish, you know, especially if WWE doesn't want to turn either Seth Rollins or AJ Styles and doesn't want either of them to look weak. I could definitely see Brock interfering, sabotaging the match, and then it's Brock versus Seth again at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. So that would not surprise me at all if we end up seeing that. So yeah, thank you for that question, Tim. I do appreciate it. So now I want to go to some of the Twitter questions. And again, you guys can send in questions via Super Chat. I may open up Skype again, but I'm going to have to be really careful. I may only answer questions from accounts that I recognize at this point for the remainder of the evening. I apologize to anybody that wants to be a first-time caller, but I may have to screen these calls better because somebody out there just feels like being a prick. This one comes from Cody at Stalkin, or Stat, I can never pronounce this, Static Infamy. There we go. Took me like 3 times, but I got it. Your thoughts on Tony Khan's interview with Chris Van Vliet? I found it refreshing that he wants W/L to mean something. I'm not sure what W/L is. Somebody might need to help me here. As well as he wants AEW to be more athletic-based and not entertainment and cartoon-based like WWE. So I haven't actually watched the whole interview with Van Vliet, but he does really good interviews, so I definitely recommend checking them out. I think that Tony Khan, I'm just going to call him Coney now. I'm just going to shorten it to Coney. So Coney, that's his new nickname now, Coney. I think he's got a good idea of what they need to do to succeed. You don't want to have AEW be a carbon copy of WWE. You don't want to make them come off to the general public as second rate. You want them to have their own identity. You want them to be a true alternative. You want people to tune in to AEW for something different than what WWE is giving you. So yeah, if WWE is doing PG content, do TV-14 content. If WWE's doing cartoon-based characters, do reality-based characters. If WWE is doing short matches, do longer matches. Change it up. give people a real alternative, and that's your best chance for success. So that's my take on it. The problem with WCW was that their greatest success was when they were doing things different. When they started acting like WWE 2.0, their numbers started going down. So we got some more super chats here. Caleb Jacobs just sent a $21.95 super chat, which I really do appreciate, Caleb. He says, what did you think of Jon Moxley's return on the indies, of him getting out of an asylum? To me, a nice touch. Again, I loved that promo. I think that the symbolism of him breaking out of the WWE prison was very entertaining. And it sent a nice message. You know, he took a shot at WWE without being so predictable. You know, the usual route, you know, cutting a promo saying, the company misused me, blah, 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 and they didn't let me do my thing. You know, this was a nice way to do it. And then, of course, as mentioned earlier, the dog chasing him, you could say that was Roman Reigns, the big dog. He's getting away from that, too. Yeah, really, really solid promo. And I thought it was better than anything on Raw or SmackDown this week. So there you go. Whoever came up with that, whoever produced that, well done. And got this one here from This Guy Experience with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Need to speak to you about 2 never-ending issues in WWE. Well, go for it, This Guy. Send me your questions, and I will be happy to answer those to the best of my ability. And I got one here from Chris Mace, who did call in a few minutes ago. He said, will Lesnar win the world title again? And he says, support no DQ. I would not be shocked if Brock won the title again. I mean, I was surprised just to see him lose it at WrestleMania. I was pretty much convinced he was going to beat Seth Rollins at that show. I could definitely see him having another title reign. Same old crap, you know. Paul Heyman coming out there saying, my name is Paul Heyman. All that stuff, you know. Would not shock me if that's what ends up happening. Brock ends up becoming Universal Champ again for, like, you know, the 3rd time or whatever it is now. I don't know. So let me go to another question here from Kyle Allen at John Bravestar. He says, do you believe Vince's excuse for low ratings on Raw and SmackDown on talent absences, and would you agree with him? Talent absences. So yeah, I think during the recent WWE conference call for their quarterly earnings, Vince mentioned something like talents were absent, and that's why ratings were down. That has nothing to do with it. WWE has so many people on the roster. Roman Reigns is back now, and those numbers are still going down. So it's the product that people tune in to see. If they're not interested in the product, they don't watch. I think that's what it comes down to. It's just the shows are not good enough to justify tuning in for 3 hours or even 2 hours at this point. It's oversaturation, too much content, and I think people still like to follow WWE to a degree, but they'll watch YouTube clips, they'll watch Twitter, they'll watch Facebook. There are other ways to stay up to date with WWE and the storylines. So there's not really much of an urgency to watch Raw or SmackDown at this point with that much content. But thank you so much for that question, and I think it is what you said. It's an excuse. Got a $10 super chat here, or $9.99 from Mike B. He says, okay, Tevin's calling in, so... Hello, Tevin. I will speak to you in just a second here. Mike B just sent a $10 super chat saying, oh no, the sound. Oh no. Hold on, I'm going to mute you for a second. He says, I just downloaded Skype, never used it before. Next time you do a call-in video, I'll try to call. Hopefully I can do it right. Aaron, you're a good guy. Keep up the great work. Thank you for that, Mike B. So let's get back to the call here. Tevin, what's up, my friend?
Hey, man, just me. I sent you a super chat a couple minutes ago. So the 2 very important, I mean, they're not really important, but basically I'm just getting straight to the point. So you mentioned Roman Reigns like a minute ago, and he's like one of the, how do I say, not being mean or rude to Virtue. Basically, he is the never-ending story of WWE. Like, how many times is Vince going to shove him down our throats? The experiment's been done multiple times, and at this point in time, I feel sorry for the man that he had got cancer, or his cancer came back or whatever. But they're doing the same thing over and over again. Like, I had posted a comment yesterday on your SmackDown review video about how he beat beat the B team, and I just remember back in the Attitude Era, and even with this aggression, like John Cena never won those matches, The Rock never won all those matches, Stone Cold never won all those matches, yet they still got over because their character were more believable. Like, you can't win every single match, and that's the problem that Vince is doing. He's making like Roman Reigns unbeatable, and in fact, like back at WrestleMania, they should have had this, what was it, the Swiss, I said Swiss Superman, Drew McIntyre, what is his code name now? The psychotic cyborg, or whatever.
The Scottish supernova or something. Scottish psychopath, I think it is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he should have went over, and at the end of the day, Roman Reigns would have had an excuse of why he lost. He's recovering from cancer and everything. But no, Vince once again is like, no, he must win. That man must win. Like, no, Vince, stop. It's getting too ridiculous. Same as Charlotte, she's in the same boat. Like, they always said, but yeah, my girlfriend said that. TJS, you'll be proud. But anyway, I don't think she does. But yeah, they're in the same exact boat. At least Charlotte loses sometimes. Occasionally, we know that she'll lose, and that's going to segue to my second thing. The bias. I'm not going to say Vince is racially biased, but he has his bias that he likes, which is blonde females. That's what it seems like, because in the history. Again, I haven't seen that one.
No worries.
Yeah, like we know Trish Stratus got the major push back in the day, which she deserved because she worked her ass off, nice ass that she has, whatever, to get better. We had Stable, we had Sunny, Do I Need to Go On, Charlotte right now, Alexa Bliss. And speaking of Alexa Bliss, I'm still angry that Vince is taking, like, I don't know, I'm not behind the scenes obviously, but it seems like Alexa Bliss is not, I still personally love the character Alexa Bliss, but at the same time, it seemed like if anything went down between Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks, Vince would have taken her side, Alexa Bliss's side over Sasha Banks, even though Sasha Banks is a better athlete than Alexa Bliss. And now the next blonde bombshell is Miss Evans, and she's awesome too. I thought she was a dark horse in the Women's Royal Rumble last year, but yeah.
Well, so to comment on both of the things you said, I think I could actually tie them together here. So I think with Vince McMahon, basically he has this mentality. He knows what works best for him over the past 30 years, and he sticks to his formula. So whatever worked in the past, he just keeps repeating that as much as he can, because if something is successful, his attitude is, let's just keep repeating that. New people are tuning in, fans get older, and WWE is always trying to cater to a younger audience. So their attitude is, we got new people, we'll just tell the same story we told with the previous generation, and we'll retell it to this new audience. But the thing is, there's still a lot of us that are still watching, that have been watching for a while. So it's really what's going on here. Vince has that template of the superhero, which is why you had Hulk Hogan, and then you had John Cena, and now you got Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is basically, another version of those guys, the superhero that has the stack decked against him. The deck stacked against him. I think I totally messed that up, but you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but the difference is, at least, as much as I dislike, and I hate Hogan, I'm sorry, I always hated him way before 2015. Like, I've hated him for years because I've heard his backstage politics. But anyway, at least he lost every once in a while. Like, he was an unstoppable force, not Nia Jax.
Yeah, I would say that even Steve Austin was a bit of a superhero in the sense, he won the title. WrestleMania 14, the deck was stacked against him with Mike Tyson and DX, and then afterwards Vince was always stacking the deck against him again, putting him in the handicap matches and trying to screw him out of the title. So, I mean, the story has been told even with guys like Steve Austin. And also regarding the women, I think it's the same thing where Vince had success with Sunny and Sable. And, you know, Pamela Anderson was one of the biggest stars of the 90s. And she's the blonde woman, the blonde white woman. You have the Barbie dolls, you know. That's like a symbol of what American beauty is. So it's that stereotype. And I think that's Vince's mentality. And he kind of just sticks to that mentality that, you know, the only marketable female star is your skinny blonde woman with big boobs. You know, that's what works for him. So
thank you for agreeing with me.
not a problem. Hello there.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I'm just kind of tired of seeing Roman Reigns constantly put in these like ridiculous predicaments that we know he's gonna win. Like when Brock was in those predicaments, Stone Cold was in those predicaments, it was like I said, they had a 55% chance of winning, but that still had a percentage chance of losing compared to Roman Reigns and even more or less John Cena, which is like 99% chance of winning, and they have that 1% chance of losing. I'm kind of really tired of that.
Well, all I know is you're talking about percents, and I feel like you're gonna start cutting a Scott Steiner promo on me right now.
No, I don't have those math skills like that.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for the call, and you know, I really do appreciate it. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
I'm gonna give my phone to my girlfriend because she has something to plug.
Okay, go for it.
Facebook.com Blinging in the Rain.
All right, well, repeat that one more time because I'm not sure if it came through.
Facebook.com Blinging in the Rain.
Okay, is that with a G at the end, or how do you spell it? Okay, got it. All right, thank you so much for that. Thank you guys for calling in, and you guys have a great night. Hello there.
You too.
Beautiful kid, by the way.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, take care, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
You too.
Yeah, I actually had them on the video so I could see them the whole time. I really do appreciate that call. Let me get to a few super chats here. I actually got some during that last call. All right, our Reddy's calling, or they were trying to call. I will get to the rest of these calls here in a minute. Already, you just sent in a $2 super chat. First time caller would love to call. I will get to you in just a moment here. I'm going to try to get to everyone here. All right, he's calling now, so I'm going to take it. He did send a super chat. All right, so Johnny Boy and Caleb, I will get to your questions here in a few minutes. Already, how's it going?
I'm doing very good, my friend.
Thank you for calling in. So what's on your mind?
I heard that CM at WWE is going to be interested in CM Punk. Do you think he's going to be in a wrestler role or a non-wrestler role, if at all he comes back?
Okay, so CM Punk coming back to WWE, again, like AEW, I will believe it when I see it. Would I love to see CM Punk come back to either promotion? 100% yes. I feel like CM Punk coming back would be a huge buzz generator. It would bring traffic to the site. It would get people hyped up. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. And it's one of those scenarios where I will believe it when I see it. I really feel CM Punk doesn't want to be in wrestling anymore. He can come back and make huge money. If he went to WWE, if he went to All Elite Wrestling, wherever he wanted to go, he's going to have no problems making money in those promotions. He can make a ton as a wrestler if he wants to, but I don't think he does. But we'll see. Never say never. Everybody that said they would never come back ended up coming back, whether it was the Ultimate Warrior or Bruno Sammartino. All these guys eventually came back, and I think the same applies to CM Punk. I think we'll see him back one day, but again, I feel like I have to believe it by seeing it. I'm not just gonna go by, oh, CM Punk might be coming back. You know, we've heard that story many times. So thank you very much for that question. I do appreciate it.
I have one more question.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So for the women's wrestling, like the push for women's wrestling in the last 8 months or 1 year, do you consider it as a success from the perspective of WWE, or do you think it's not exactly what they planned for?
Okay, so wait, I missed part of that. You said something about an 8-month title reign. What did you say?
No. I'm saying women's wrestling in general. Like they pushed like women's wrestling in the last 1 year, right? So
right.
I mean, main event at WrestleMania. The whole period, does WWE think it is a success, like in terms of revenue in terms of new eyes, etc., in terms of coverage, media coverage? Do you think it's a success for WWE and they're going to repeat it again, or do you think they're going to be careful next time and not put women in the main event of WrestleMania?
Okay, I get what you're saying now. I think that Ronda Rousey definitely helped to a degree because she brought in more of a female audience. She is considered to be, one of the best female athletes in the world. And I think she's a role model to a lot of young women. So, I definitely think as far as building that female audience, it was definitely a success and helping women have more credibility in WWE. So, I definitely think it's helping, but I don't know if it was like overwhelmingly making a big difference. It should have made Becky the biggest star in WWE, and right now I feel like she's kind of flat. You could blame that on the finish at WrestleMania. You could blame that on the build-up, perhaps, that it wasn't exactly what we were expecting, and maybe it just didn't do what it needed to do to take Becky to that next level. But I think for the most part, it was a success. Could have definitely been done better, though, in my opinion. And I think WWE will continue to try and build up Becky as a brand and Charlotte as a brand and push these other women and keep them as a focal point of the show. So I definitely think it will continue. And, I think the next step for them, they're trying to, keep breaking new boundaries. I think the next step will be to try and get something going with Saudi Arabia, maybe have a women's match there. I think that'll be, we'll see if they can pull it off for June, but I would think that's going to be like the next goal they're going to try to reach. But anyways, thank you so much for the call. I really do appreciate it. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
One more question, Aaron. You should plan a meetup just for Pacific Northwest because you live in Portland, and I'm guessing along with me, other people live in like Seattle, Portland area. So not exactly with respect to WWE pay-per-view or anything, but a NoDQ event would be nice. That's one of my requests.
Oh, well, I might not be able to pull that off now because I'm actually not going to be in Portland for that much longer. But, I have met a couple people over the past few years, and everybody I've met has been really awesome. But, maybe I'll be able to make something happen, but no promises with that. Anyways, thank you so much for the call. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
No, sir. Thanks very much for your content and the videos and the time you put in. So I really appreciate the effort, and I'm glad that I got to speak with you.
All right, yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure to have you on. Have a great night, my friend.
You too, sir. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye. All right, that was already. Now, let me get to those other super chats. I'm not sure why I had it on Do Not Disturb, yet the calls are still going through. So Do Not Disturb not actually doing what they're supposed to be doing here. All right, so Johnny Boy sent in a $2 super chat. Let's get to these super chat comments. He says, favorite Dean Ambrose match and moment. Maybe the Shield triple threat. I mean, that one was one of my favorites. Ambrose had some solid matches with the Shield. As far as like the Shield together, maybe the Shield versus the Wyatt family from 2014. That was a tremendous match. The Shield as a group had so many matches, but I'm not sure if you're talking about like favorite Ambrose singles match or favorite Shield matches. So I'll just say what I just said. Shield versus Wyatt family for the group, and then the Shield triple threat as the singles match. And I did get this other question here. Caleb Jacob sent in another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Caleb, by the way. He says, why is WWE pushing Baron Corbin when nobody likes him? Wouldn't it be considered political like JBL's push back in 2004? I think WWE is looking at the boos that Corbin gets and sees that as good heat. And, I feel like for maybe some of the casual WWE fans, it is good heat because when he comes out there, they play along with it. They boo him and, they chant these things at him. And I feel like a lot of people do like Baron Corbin. It's just, WWE needs to change things up with him. Like, now that he's wearing that outfit when he's not the general manager, it just doesn't make any sense. And I think he's gotten a bad rep too because fans associate him with that really bad period of TV, during October, November, and people associate all that with him. But I'm with Greg Cherry. I think Corbin's a talented guy, and I think he's a good promo. So I really don't have any issues with him, but I feel like he's just been put in some lame storylines, and I think the outfit's not helping him as well. So that's my take on it at this point. And then, they put him in that position with Kurt Angle, and that's not really fair to him. People wanted to see an epic match with Kurt Angle, and Baron Corbin's a good wrestler and whatnot, but people wanted to see like Angle versus John Cena or something like that for Cena's final match. So it was such a letdown when that happened, and I think Baron Corbin's the frustration is moving to him when it's not his fault. He's just doing what he's told to do. He's just trying to make a living like everybody else. All right, so thank you for that, Caleb Jacobs. Let me get to a question here from They See Me Rollins on Twitter, twitter.com/AaronRift. He says, if WWE has a safer in-ring style and all those injuries preventing methods, why are so many people getting hurt more than ever? I think that WWE is safer in the sense of, they're protecting the chair shots to the head, and they're staying on top of wrestlers and their medical conditions. But WWE does have a very risky style where guys are going out there, they're doing a lot of dives, they're very athletically gifted, and because of that, they're doing bigger high spots, they're taking more risks, and that's what's putting them at a greater risk for injury. Just the fact that they're trying to be flashier, they're doing all these things, and you're gonna open up the doors for being hurt. And these guys are still working very heavy schedules, where they're wrestling on a regular basis, 250 to 300 days a year. And your body is only going to be able to take so much punishment before it starts to break down on you. So one could argue WWE might want to give their talents lighter schedules, give them some more time off, do a cycle, have an off season, which isn't going to happen. But, people have made that argument for that very reason that, you have these guys going hard night in and night out, it's going to catch up with them eventually. And that's what's happening here. Kayfabe Candy says, injuries are reported more than ever. I don't know if guys are hurt more than ever. Back in the day, the guys kayfabe their injuries to the promotion. That's also something to consider. Back when Steve Austin was on top, I remember, I think for SummerSlam, Austin and Undertaker were... Okay, William Losh is calling in. Hello, William. How's it going?
Good. How are you, man? What's up?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for calling in. So before I get to your question, I just wanted to finish my thought with what Kayfabe Candy said. Guys like Undertaker and Austin, I believe they worked the SummerSlam 98 pay-per-view. Both of them were injured. So yeah, he's right about that. Guys would just work through injuries. But back then, WWE had a much thinner roster, and these guys just went out there despite being hurt. So if anything, one way it is safer now is that WWE doesn't let guys go out there and perform while they're hurt. Whereas back in the day, these guys would go out there and work while they're injured. Anyways, William, what's your question?
Yeah, so I was going to see, did you see that Sasha Banks dyed her hair black? Which I don't know if that means that, she just did that for no reason, or that means that she's, not planning on coming back to WWE. But I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I did see that, and I'm feeling like at the very least she is taking some time off and she's doing her own thing, and she's not in Money in the Bank. I mean, it's always possible she could show up. I don't know if it's possibly a new look for her, and maybe she's going to use that on TV and get rid of the colored hair. We'll have to wait and see on that, but I definitely think it's interesting that she's doing that right now, considering all the stories that are out there about her. So we'll see what happens. Definitely interesting, though.
Well, that's all I had, man. I appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you so much for calling in, William. I really do appreciate it. Have a great night, my friend.
Yeah, take it easy.
All right, take care. All right, that was William Losh calling in. All right, guys. So I think on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close up Skype for the evening and wrap things up for this edition of No DQ Live. I do want to thank everybody very much for calling in, sending your super chats, sending in your questions via Twitter. I do plan on doing more of these. If you would like to call in, I'm going to make a request. If you haven't already, email me, nodqmisc@gmail.com with your Skype info and your availability when you're usually around. I am going to try to make a better effort in screening calls now, just because I really think it's just one guy that's doing this, but could open up the door for more callers. Caitlin says, what about me? All right, Caitlin, if you're going to call in, let's do it. I'm going to open this up here, so if you would like to call me, call me. But yeah, I am going to try to make a better effort to screen the calls in the future. So that way, like, I recognize the calls, I know who's calling in and all that stuff. All right, Caitlin, Skype is open now, so if you would like to call in, go for it. Watch, somebody else ends up calling in, and then we're going to have more callers. Chris Mace says, I'll not call this time and interrupt Caitlin. Well, thank you for that, Chris Mace. I do appreciate it. I'll give her a second here to call in. Just real quick, I would like to do some plugs for No DQ. Check out the t-shirts, nodq.com/shirts. We have 20-something. I forgot what the count is at this point, but there are a lot of shirts. If you would like to support the website and the channel, pick up a t-shirt. We got t-shirts for pretty much everyone. Actually, I don't think we have one for Noah Foster yet, so we're going to have to get one on there. Something about the simple man or whatever. Caitlin, are you calling in? I haven't got anything from you yet. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding Money in the Bank. All right, Caitlin's calling in now. Hello, Caitlin.
Hi.
How are you this evening?
Good. I actually don't really have a question. I just wanted to call.
Okay, just to say hi for a minute?
Yeah.
Well, do you have any thoughts on anything going on in wrestling right now?
Well, I still didn't watch the Dean Ambrose clip, or excuse me, Jon Moxley.
You bad.
But I have to do that. And so I can catch up and see what everybody's raving about.
Well, I would like to give a shout out to Mary and Bill as well as Jennifer. I think they're watching right now. I'm not sure.
You know what? They might not be, since they're not, in the Twitter world. They might not have seen the notification about it.
Well, I did promote it on Facebook. But it's okay. I'm sure they'll watch it on demand anyways if they haven't watched it live. Well, you gotta give me something here.
Well, I don't know. So how was your last week?
It was probably, well, not probably, I would say it was the best week of my life.
Fair enough.
All right. How about you?
Same.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I really don't have any questions.
I should note to people that I kind of BS'd my way through the Raw review this week because we were driving back to where we were staying during the show, and we were watching Raw on Sling TV, and it kept cutting out. So we missed parts, although when I looked back on the clips, we really didn't miss much. And it felt like a pretty flat show. I mean, was there anything that stood out to you when we were watching that, or you were just like, man, this show sounds really boring? I mean, that's the vibe I got from you when we were driving. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, but as we said in the review, I was also doing the notes for you, so I wasn't really watching it in the same way I normally would, I suppose.
Right. Somebody in the chat room, Mr. Anderson, said this is cheesy.
Yeah, I see that. That's all right.
All right, well,
no big deal. I'll put him out of his misery and hang up.
Maybe he's the one that made that comment on YouTube. And full disclaimer, I'm the one that asked Caitlin to be on the videos. She's always just gone along with the ride, and that's not something that I'm like, saying that she needs to be on. I just like having you on the videos, just whenever
Yeah.
we're in person.
So if people don't know what we're talking about, somebody commented that they were glad that I let him do the video by himself. I'm never like forcing him to put me on videos.
Right. I mean,
so
sometimes
anyway.
I like to have somebody to bounce ideas over. And when I'm in LA, I like to have Jeff on videos with me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I mean, if I'm in Chicago, I'd like to get people with me like Virtue and Stefan. When we were all together, we were doing videos. So, you know, I just like to, when I have the opportunity to do videos with other people, I like to do it. So
yeah.
Simple as that, as Noah Foster would say.
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to hang up.
All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up. So thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
All righty.
All right. Love you, sweetie.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So on that note, before this gets too cheesy, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you all again for watching and supporting. And maybe we'll do another one this weekend. I'll have to see what's going on. You know, I felt today was a good day with the Jon Moxley video coming out and the Saudi Arabia announcement. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if something goes down in the next couple of days. The No DQ review is going to be up in the next day or so. It's just a little bit delayed.